Assalamu alaikum. Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, we are at a critical time in history, a time of unprecedented trouble, a time unlike there's ever been before. That's what unprecedented means. It will never be again. It's a glorious time. It's time to make a name for yourself, for those who are strong in faith, because they will not be afraid of the darkness. And believe me, it's going to be intensely dark, as the Quran says, intensely dark. And they will not be afraid of the darkness. So as Daniel says, they would do, says those who know their God will do exploits. That's the time to make a name for yourself. When everyone is afraid and cowering and hiding and shaking, and you're standing firm. Not only will you make a name for yourself, but you'll inspire. You'll save lives. Because you will be the only light, the true light. And many of our people will depend on you because they don't have the light yet. Slow to wake up, but they're waking up. They're waking up and they're going to wake up completely in a moment. So we're going to have a general talk here, brothers and sisters. I've been studying this angel for 30 years, going on 31. I'll be 72 years old next month. It's been a long journey, a difficult journey, a hard journey, an impossible journey. Because as the angel tells you, it was an impossible task. That's why I call it a miracle. See? Miracle doesn't mean what they think it means. It means, it's like saying, I'm going to flip a coin 1,000 times. It's always going to come up heads. Well, that'd be a miracle, but it can happen. Because possibility is off the scale. The possibility that happens is off the scale unless you got a rid coin. So it's just like me going out and winning the lottery 3 times in a row, the big one. It can happen. I mean, you think that's impossible. I mean, it can happen, but you say that's a miracle. But I mean, it could happen. I mean, there have had, I think this one lady not so long ago had it twice. So let's not get spooky, about miracles. Nothing happens. Everything happens within the context of mathematics, period. So I just want to have a general talk here. Because we're going to talk a little about Exodus. And as the brother was trying to tell you a while back, Brother Malik, Exodus is a good roadmap. It's under a veil, but it's under a thin veil. So anyone looking for the truth can find enough of it to guide them on the right path. Those of you who have heard the story before, I came to Elijah Muhammad based on the sealed Bible. Malachi, another place, is sealed also, but it's a thin veil. that if you truly look for the truth, it means you look hard, see, because you have to look hard through that veil. If anything's veiled, it means you gotta look harder, see, because no veil is out, it's clear. But there's a veil, it means you gotta look a little harder, and you gotta have a pure heart, see, because you gotta be looking for the truth, not looking for something to confirm your truth, like Farrakhan's people do. They try to twist scripture to find scripture that confirm their truth. We just, any scripture you give us, which one? Throw it back at you and say, okay, here, explain it to you. No matter, we don't jump around the script, say, oh, this scripture's good, that scripture's bad, this scripture's good, that scripture's bad. No, all of it, we take it all. We do make a qualification. We went to transliteral because, you have problems with translations because you have a translation for every taste. But let's go right into Exodus. Because as Elijah Muhammad said, the truth is made so clear, even a fool would err. And the bottom line is, it's very simple. You can break this down. I mean, I've been getting, I told you as we get closer and closer, I'll make it clearer and clearer and clearer. The bottom line is, right, is that, Abraham covenant, we through the 40 years, and we were corrupted. And so, according to Exodus, right, the bottom line is about going back home, receiving the promise. Receiving the promise. That's why I said Elijah came first. And if you listen to the line, dummy Ishmael Sunday, they don't change that. Oh, well, Farrakhan, he's the messenger of the covenant. How is that? And he comes with soap to clean everything up. You see how they talk? So if you look at it from a just basic view, that means Farrakhan came after Elijah, right? He's got to clean up Elijah's mess. See, people don't pay attention. They say anything. They throw it out there. Yeah, man, go ahead, brother. See, and we're gonna, we're gonna see why that is. So we just follow this thing basically. I said, I'm not going into all the details. I'm just summing it up to what the bottom line message is here. The bottom line message is going back home. The 40 years is done. That's history. That's done. Case closed. Bam. Sealed. That's done. Now what happens after that? That's what Exodus is all about. What happens after that between the time of the 40 years and the time we go home is that period of time between the time after the 40 years is over, which was over 2019, 2019, right? And the time we get to the promised land. See? So it's that period of time right there. But that's the essence. But in general, right, you got to tie it back to Elijah because that whole period of time in the wilderness, that's what it's all about. That journey in the wilderness, that was all about. That's what we need to understand. Because that's where we are right now. That journey in the wilderness, what was that all about? Because you got three phases. You got the Egyptian phase, the time of enslavement, the time in Egypt. Then you got that period of time, right, in the wilderness, wandering around the wilderness, use the word wandering, and then going to the promised land. See? Now we've already done the 40 years. See? We haven't got to the promised land, but this wilderness time, it says it lasts about 40 years. It's the time when Elijah will be gone. See? So when you understand it clearly, right, we'd still be in Egypt. See? Because we was in the wilderness of Egypt, but we're still we hadn't got home to the promised land yet. So it's that interim period. What's that all about? The valley of decision. The Bible calls the valley of decision. That's where we are right now. And that's why I've been trying to talk to you about the gear. See, like I said, I'm trying to bring you close, trying to explain it, trying to make it clearer and clearer. So as we get closer and closer and closer, I try to use concepts that make the point clearer and clearer. So I talk about this gear situation, which is a perfect analogy of what's going on. Because you have reverse and you have forward and you have neutral in the middle. But if we were against ourselves, that means who's going to reverse? Who's going to reverse what was Egypt? See, because they was going to reverse. It wasn't benefiting ourselves. Who's going to reverse? Who's benefiting Pharaoh? Who's going ourselves? Who's operating on the enemy mind? Who's working against ourselves? Who's in reverse? And then for our head to come, right, set up Elijah to put us in neutral. And that's what wandering, when you're wandering around means you're not going in any direction, right? You're not going in a particular direction. Wandering, that's why you use a one, because we're neutral. We're wandering around. Why are we wandering? We're not going this way, we're not going, we're wandering around the wilderness 40 some years. We're Aaron. See, there's three major figures there. See, Pharaoh just came to set it up, but three major figures there: Elijah, Aaron, and Joshua. So Elijah took us out of reverse, put us in neutral. So we stayed in neutral for 40 some years in the wilderness, right? And then Joshua would take us into drive forward. At least that's the idea. But we had to decide our decision, which way we're going to go. We're going to go back to Egypt in reverse, or we're going to go forward into the promised land. And it tells you in there, it says Aaron was trying to push you back, turn you back into reverse. He was trying to turn you back to Egypt. So while you're in the wilderness, you had two forces. You have one saying, go back in reverse, and one saying, go forward to the promised land. One go back to Egypt, one go to the promised land. And that was Aaron and Joshua, pointing two different directions. You can't get any simpler than that, brother, because that's exactly what it's saying. Read it. Those of you who are willing to read, because those who are saying otherwise, then that they have an agenda, and we're going to talk about that. Because you have a couple of things here that's very simple. Like I said, you have Exodus. It's veiled, so you have to look a little harder. See, look a little harder. Because it's got the veil, pierce that veil. So you got to look a little harder than you would if it wasn't a veil there. But once you got angel key, you remove the veil and bam, it's crystal clear. You also got the story of the demon-possessed man. See? And who's the conflict? You got three characters there. Same thing, right? You had the children of Israel, right? And you had Legion or Farrakhan, Aaron, trying to lead them back in reverse. And you had Joshua, right, saying, let's go forward into the promised land. And you had, right, the people that was possessed by the demon, right? They don't know which way to go. See? They're confused because they're being controlled by Legion, Farrakhan, right? Because when we read in the Mark, right? But when they see Joshua, they run. They want to go along with Joshua. See, they mix. They can't know the right hand from the left hand. So I put these things together. They mix. So and Legion said, no, he stops them. He controls them, but their instinct is to go with Joshua. Because that's what it said. So when they see him from afar, hey, they run and want to go along with him. But see, Legion said, no, he stops them. So they're conflicted. See? You get the picture here? It's the same thing. They're neutral. They don't know they can't figure which way to go. And that gets back to the story about they don't know the right hand from the left hand. That means you're confused. You don't know which way to go. The same story, brothers and sisters. We just got to pay attention to it. I'm keeping it simple. KISS theory, keep it simple, stupid. That's the same story. That's why I'm going to focus on that, on those three. So when you read the demon-possessed man, right? Okay. In particular, and specifically, it's talking about the Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad. Specifically, in general, it's talking about all black people. But we're going to talk about just specifics right now. So that means they're conflicted, but but they're together because the demon-possessed man, right? He possessed by demons. I mean, they're two together, intertwined. They're together. See, they're together. See, and that's what's causing the confusion. See, Joshua's separate from that. He's calling, right? The children of Israel. He's calling to him. See, but the legion, Farrakhan, no, don't listen to him. See, then then when Jesus calls my, hey, Jesus, what are you doing here? No, stop tormenting me. See, because he telling her what torment is, because Jesus was telling her to come out, separate. And he says, you stop doing that. It says, it reads, he says, we stop tormenting him. Then explain what torment is about. He said, because Jesus kept saying, right, that come out, hurt demon, evil spirits. See? So he's trying to stop that. See how these things work together? So that was the problem. The problem was, right, we had the demon-possessed man. He was beating himself up. He lost his mind, right? And he was plagued by demons. He's under control of demons. The main demon was named Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds, an NOI backwards. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, brothers and sisters. All right, well, his last name wasn't Grounds. But even if it wasn't Grounds, which it was, still, wow. I mean, come on. I mean, Legion, NOI backwards, Louis Eugene. So you can argue with a G. That's what they do. See, if it was the other way around, they wouldn't have a problem with it. So we don't have a problem because there's a reason why they're doing that. So listen to the conversation. See? Because remember, when the vow decision has to be made. Decision has to be made. Whether you're going to go this way or that way. Whether you're going in reverse or you're going to go forward into the future. Go back to the past or forward to the future. You're in a vow decision. So look at the decision that had to be made right there. See, the first thing comes out of Legion's mouth afterwards, after he begs Jesus to leave him alone, right? He says, please don't make me leave the country. Why would he say that? Because he doesn't want to go forward. He wants to stay back. That's what Farrakhan wants to do. He said, we ain't going nowhere. That's what Legion, that's what demons, remember, I don't want to go, I want to stay. Remember, you valid decision has to be made. And they want to go back. They want to take everybody back with them. See? We want to stay in America. We want these 6 states. We want reparations. See? We want to stay here. We ain't going nowhere. Don't take my word for it. That's what they say all the time. There's a stated policy. He actually says Sunday again, we're going to be rulers in a country that we was formerly enslaved in. They got that backwards because they talking about Joseph. See, Joseph was enslaved in Egypt and then he became ruler of Egypt. See, so they use that as that's supposed to be the prophecy concerning us. No, read the whole story. Because our enslavement came after Joseph. Read the whole story. Joseph is how we got into Egypt, and our enslavement came after Joseph. See, because they can twist and distort all they want. Let's think about that. I hope I'm making this clear, brothers and sisters. So that's what it was. He says, remember, you said, so their decision was to stay here. Please don't make me leave the country. I don't want to go. Aaron didn't want to go. The demons don't want to go. And so what happens? So they beg Jesus, let him go, stay here with the swine daddies. Now, why do they want to go and run it? I mean, Why are they going to run and jump in some pigs? See, we beyond that. If you understand the angel, we don't see that spooky stuff. So you want to go back to swine dives. That's what the Quran calls it, swine, the Egyptian swine. You want to go back to swine dives. And that's what they do. And they get to fight and run off the cliff. It wants, and then once that happens, once the demon's separated, now the man has got his mind back. He wants to go. He wants to leave the country. See, now the decision is made now. The decision's been made now. Legions, because before they was confused because you had the two mixed together. See, and you had to separate them. Because two mixed together, so nobody couldn't figure out what to do. Because we got these demon leaders telling us we should stay here. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what Elijah said. Remember, they can't decide their left hand from their right. So we need to stay here, we need to stay here, stay here. And so they listen to them. Because remember, the chief demon legion was the spokesman. That's Louis Eugene Grimes. He was the spokesman for them. They was all right here, and they didn't know. But remember, they was conflicted because they wanted to be with Joshua. They saw Jesus coming. They wanted to get down with him. So everybody was confused because you're in the valley of decision. When you file a decision, it means you're trying to make up your mind. You're confused. You don't know yet. Because if you wasn't confused, then you'd already made up your mind. So you're confused. Oh, well, I should go this way. Should I go that way? So then you got somebody say, hey, no, we should go this way. And somebody calling you should go that way. And so now, once Jesus forced a decision, that's why the Quran says, and lo, they are separated. That's what it's talking about. So now it can make it clear because now the man that was possessed by a demon, now he got his mind back. And what does he want to do? He wants to go with Jesus. He wants to leave. He wants to go to the promised land. Now it's clear because the demons are gone. They stay here. And he wants to go. But he's not allowed to go. Now I say, he's talking about demons specific, but black people in general, I mean, original people in general, because we got to be careful this black thing. So that's a generic term. Even Kamala Harris calls herself black. She is dark skinned, but she's Indian. She has no connection with Africa whatsoever. So the demons, I mean, no, why? They have to stay. And that gets back into Daniel, right? Where those was delivered, that's Jesus leaving with his elect. See? And then those left behind, amongst those left behind was two groups. One everlasting life, one that left same empowerment. Brother, don't you see how he's connected? So the one everlasting life, that's the NOI. Now they got to go through a tribulation though. They got to go through the scenic route. They're the ones who have to go and be chased by Pharaoh, right? They have to go through the Red Sea and all that stuff. And and I've talked about that in the intro. I'm not going to go into the graphics or the intro today because we just have a talk here. Those of you know about that, I explained the Red Sea, how it opens up and they go in dry land. And that's the NOI. See? Because they're going to attack NOI. They're not going to attack original people. Because NOI are Levites. Exodus, it's all right there, brothers and sisters. It tells you, Elijah's father said Elijah's a Levite, his fathers were Levites. They were of the children of Israel. They are adopted, so they are children of Israel by adoption. They're not of our tribe. They're our tribe by adoption. It's right there. So they had to go through the tribulation because they were supposed to build a bridge, see, between Elijah and Joshua. Instead, they built matches for Aaron. See, they're supposed to prepare a way for Joshua. So but they will get through the tribulation. That's another test because they're being tested. The Bible tells you in the valley of decision, you're gonna be tested. They're being tested because they failed the first test. They're getting the makeup. They had 42 years and they blew it. So they get because of Farad. It's not because of Joshua. Joshua didn't want to give him makeup. Farad wanted to give him, read the whole story of Jonah. Because Joshua said, man, let's go ahead and do this thing. And Farad says, no. So they have a little debate, a little conversation, they have no disagreement. Because Joshua said, look, you told me to do this thing, I did it, and now you're not doing what you said you was going to do. And he says, no, I'm not. You know, you got those can't tell it right hand from the left. So I'm going to give them a little more time. See, that's what we're going through right now. I don't like it. It tells you right there in Jonah, he didn't like it. He's pissed off about it. But that's Faraz's call. I don't step in Faraz's lane. He doesn't step in my lane. I'm the high priest. I got a job. He has a job to do. I don't step in his lane. He don't step in my lane. He's the God, no doubt. And don't forget it. He is the God. And we will all respect him, including me, as the God. He's the God. I'm the high priest. I got this job to do, and I'm doing it. And one day we'll talk about that relationship a little more in depth. I'm trying to keep it simple for you, brothers and sisters. When a valid decision, that's what it's all about. And a decision has to be made. And it's being made because the demons are being called out. Once they're separated, then they're going to go back to Egypt, and we're going to the promised land. Some the scenic route, some first class. See? The elect are going first class. They will not hear the faintest sound of raging and roarings of hell. See? But the Levites, they're going the scenic route because they failed in their mission. So they had to be tried. See, when they talk about they talk about in the Bible in Malachi about the gold and the silver. There's a reason why the elect are gold, and the Nation of Islam is black because silver can be black. Or close to it, red can be black. It depends on it can be black. That's why they're the silver. They grab their precious metal though. Silver's a precious metal. I said that's why it's all there, brothers and sisters. I said we could talk about the angel for now because it's all right there. But you don't see it unless you really study it because it's all there. Just don't pay attention to it. Everything there means something. You can't well, why are they black? Well, silver is black. That's why it says in Malachi. It'd be gold and silver. We're the gold. See? But they're going to be attacked very soon. And they're going to need Suleiman to come and save their ass. The same ones, right, that was rejecting and mocking. He didn't have to come and save their ass because he's going to have to call on the four winds, right? That's how they baptized with fire. As Muhammad baptized them with water, but it says Suleiman would baptize them with fire. He would go to the baptizement with them. Because when they come, they're coming hot. When devils come after NOI, they're coming hot. Coming in hot. And that's why I said, if you're afraid of darkness, then you probably have a stroke when it happens. Because it's going to look like there's no possible way that you can survive it. It's going to be so dark and they come in hot. See? And Suleiman will have to be there to stand strong, inspire them, give them confidence, and call on Farad. Because if Farad's just not going to drop those four. Look, Farad is not going to just drop that fire on them. Read what it says. Ezekiel calls that. Ezekiel's called Son of Man. He's Suleiman. That's what Son of Man means. He said, you prophesize towards it. He has to call on the four winds to say their ass. Because he's right there on the ground. Farad is the God up in the sky. Read Exodus. And Joshua's a general on the ground. He's there. Farad's there for us. Joshua's the ground for us. He's on the ground. He says, okay, hit him. That's the way it is, brothers and sisters. He saves their ass, cleans them up real quick. It's going to be a short period of time. We'll say real quick, give them their mind back, and then he leaves them behind. And he goes back and takes his elect. Read the demon-possessed man. Then he takes his elect, and he goes on. He gets in the boat, but he leaves them behind. But now they got their mind back, right? Now their army, they can defend themselves, but they got to go through the tribulation. See, they got to go to that fire. They fail a test. Because we ain't going to have any BS. Any weak-minded, anybody come back with that Christianity, any kind of foolishness, Sunnis, all that kind of stuff. No. Because it says those who know who their God is, they will do exploits. Them. The rest will be burned off. That's why they got to go through it. See, because Farrakhan got all confused. And they wasn't really down with Elijah Muhammad anyway, because they was the first resurrection. They was Islam. They had Elijah all over them, but not in them. So they wearing the FY suit and the MGT uniform. They had FY, they had all over them, but they have it. They have no spirit. So that's why they got to go to tribulation, because they got to get that spirit. They got to get inside themselves. That hey, this is Allah is God. Fraud is the God. Elijah Muhammad is messenger. Suleiman is a high priest. Period. Damn, that's it. Case closed. Ain't no mystery God. Mathematics is the true religion. It has to come from the inside out. That's why they got to go through it, because they don't have it right now. If they did, they would be behind this message right now. They don't have Elijah. And they still, that's how the demon was able to get hold of them. See? Because he's still giving the outside. He's playing towards the outside. So you can still wear the uniform, you still wear the MGT. He's still playing with the outside. Because they ain't got no spirit inside yet. If they had Elijah hot inside them, right? In the way in the world, they would have been deceived by Farrakhan. No way in the world possible. Every sign in the world is against that clown. Follows the devil, disemboweled. That's a punishment that Allah would never inflict on any of his messengers or prophets. That's worse than death. Where it says persecution is worse than slaughter. That's the worst thing you could do to any man. Ask any man alive. No man would, they'd rather be dead. They'd be disemboweled, castrated. They'd rather be dead. "42 years he reigned." Oh, I mean, the man's sick. And you just go look at what he says. He's not down with the Abrahamic covenant. Because it says, he talks about it, but time, but the prompt, what's the point of talking about all the suffering if you don't get the reward? Oh man, he works hard, man. He's a hard worker. Look how hard he works. Man, he works, man. He's here 24/7 work. But there's no talk about payday. What the hell? I mean, what does he work for? You don't get no pay. You don't get no payday. What's the point? See, he don't talk about the payday. See, he's talking about some pay. Well, get something from Massa. Go back to the plantation, and Massa give you a ham. Now, he might give some extra chitlins. If you're good. That's his message. So, brothers, I think I made that simple, clear enough. When the vow decision, Exodus talking about, and decide which we're going. We're in neutral now. Are we going back in reverse? See, we were in reverse, obviously, because we was going backwards. We didn't have our own nation, so we was in reverse. We was doing some other body's will. We was following their will. That means we're going against ourselves. We're in reverse. So Elijah came and put us in neutral. So now we're in a vow decision. Whether we're going to go back in reverse or we're going to go forward. And we got two people calling us. Aaron is calling us saying go back in reverse. And we got Joshua saying let's go forward into the future, go to the promised land to get the reward that we already worked for. And so you got two, right? Two influences. The demons wants to go back in reverse, because that's what daddy is. He wants to go back with daddy. And the original people, right, or the saints, they want to get the hell out of here. But they're confused because they say, hey, man, no. No, they're hearing both sides. Hey, man, well, no, we should go back here, man. We're gonna get back to Europe. We're going to take over Egypt. See, we're going to get a reparation. We're going to take over Egypt. See, we're going to be we're going to rule the people that used to rule us. We're going to do this. We're going to get revenge, whatever. I was like, man, let the hell with all that plantation stuff, man. I'm getting the hell out of here. We're not parts of that. See? And they're hearing both sides. So they can't figure which one to do. They can't tell the right hand from the left. Because the one that's telling to go back to Egypt, he's claiming that he's speaking for the one that's supposed to be telling us going. He's claiming he's speaking for Elijah. That puts it neutral. That's what he claims. He's lying. Because Elijah took us out of reverse. But he claims he's speaking for Elijah. So he said, oh no, we need to go back in reverse. And Joshua said, no, hell with that. You need to be going forward into the future. See? So we can't, and the only way we can do it because we got we got them, they mixed together. The demons and the saints, the original people, see, they mixed together. See, they entangle. See? So if you got two things mixed together, mud and dirt and water together, you got mud, right? Put dirt and water together, you got mud. So what you have to do, you have to put some sunlight, right? Put some sun on that mud to separate the water from the mud. So therefore, then you have dirt and water. I mean, dirt and water, right? Separated. But that's sunlight. That's what Angel is doing. See? So it's going to cause that water to rise, separate from the dirt. So now you got the ultimate harvest between the wheat and the chaff. But you need to shed that sunlight on it. The angel does. So the water starts drawing towards it. See? Start drawing that water up away. After a while, all the water is separated, then you got dry earth and you got liquid water. See? So then you can take the water and throw the dirt away. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. So I try to make it as simple as possible. So some of you are being evaporated. You rise up, buzz that mud. Because right now, that's what's happening. You got the Bible, right? That's what the Bible was. The Bible was mud. It had water in it and dirt mixed together. The sealed and unsealed mixed together. Yet had Suleiman come and break that seal and start separating the water from the dirt. So you start looking at it, right? You look at it from the unsealed version, and you see this world you see right now is the world of the sealed version. Because it reflects their mind. It's not making their mind. That's their brain. That's the way they think. And so therefore they identify with that. So slavery, murder, genocide, right? All stuff, that's all sanctioned in the sealed version. Read it. It's okay to kill people. It's okay to enslave people. Trick people. Lie. You see all that stuff. You got. That's why a lot of Sunnis are against it. Say, well, man, you got Abraham lying in there, right? And you got Suleiman. So, and I feel them, but they don't understand it. Because that's the way you feel. The women are no good, treacherous, evil, rebellious. That'll cause all sin in the world, right? See? Harlots, that's the sealed version. And so what you see is what you see there. They're totally in sync with the sealed version. because that's what his sealed version says. But when you break the seals, you understand that's not what it's saying at all. That's not what it's saying at all. Nothing bad about women in the sealed version, unsealed version. Nothing. See? We don't even have that kind of nonsense. See? In the sealed version, right? We was brought here because we were sinful. Ain't that what Farrakhan saying? So in the sealed version, we was brought here because we were sinful. We'd be punished. So that means our captors are they help blame us for what they did to us. We deserved it because we're sinful. That's Farrakhan's version. See, but when you unseal it, you find that's not the case at all. No, we came over here as a sacrifice, and now we've been rewarded. Farrakhan identifies with the sealed version because that's the brain he has. So that software runs perfectly on his brain. You have to understand that it's not the software that made the brain; it's the brain, right? And that's you need, and that's the software that runs on that brain. And the angel runs on the unsealed that runs on our brain. But right now we have the sealed version run our brain. That's why we acting crazy. It's like I said, the demon-possessed man, not only was he out of his mind, but he was self-destructive. And same that you see. Black folks, our original people are doing that, self-destructive, and they're crazy. You see what they're doing out there. But true mind is drawing that water up, separated from, right, from the dirt. So hope you understand, brothers and sisters, we're in the valley of decision. And we should be out of here now. But it says, no. It says, because Fry told John, no, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to give him a little more time. I don't like it. It tells you right there, John didn't like it. He was pissed off. He told him he was pissed off. Told him, don't talk to him. Told him, I'm pissed off. I don't like, hey man, what you telling here? See? That's where we are, brothers. I don't like any more than you do. But that's the problem. That's what happened. That's exactly what's happening. But don't be dismayed because unless the universe starts reversing itself again, it's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And if you keep the heat on, the pot's going to boil. So that's where we understand that pressure, understand how pressure works. So we know these things are happening. And we see it's going to happen any day now. It's going to be, it tells you by definition right there, it's going to be a little longer than it's supposed to be. So like I explained to you a story about Adam and Eve in chapter 11, how they're both doing the same thing up to a point. Then all of a sudden, right, the sequence changes. And I explain how in the sixth seal explains it. It says, through the unripe figs. Same thing. So it's telling you here, right, that this is the time it's supposed to happen. You're preaching at 40 days, right? He's preaching in Nineveh. Now understand Nineveh. Nineveh, a great city. That's talking about America. Nineveh is talking about the Nation of Islam. See, that's something that Farrakhan, they all get mixed up on that too. See, so Nation of Islam repented. America didn't repent in that scenario. There was a repentance, but that's something else altogether, right? That gets into, well, I'm not going to go into that. But the point is that that's what that is. See? But if you listen to it carefully, right, the king, right, see, they repented of him because he sat down in sackcloth. And he said he covered himself with sackcloth, sat down in ashes. You have to understand, the angel understand that. Because that's talking about the sackcloth represents the war that she overcoming, right? He said on ashes, that means his ass is being burned up. That's why he's sitting down in ashes. Why are you sitting down in ashes? Where do ashes come from? What's the result of ashes? From fire. See? So you don't pay attention to those things. So Nation of Islam is going to repent of him. That's what it's talking about. That's what happens in the demon-possessed man, right? They repent of him, right? Hey, they separate themselves from him. That's what it's talking about. I say it's going to be taken down with them. It's another story. So we can talk about him, or we can talk about Peter. We can talk about. We can. I'm not one. I don't want to go into all detail. I'm trying to just make it very simple. KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm just trying to explain to you. When the value of decision, see, possessed by demons, that's what's causing the confusion. They got to be separated because they want to stay here. I ain't going nowhere. Please don't make me leave the country. See, that's their decision. I want to stay. See, the man that was demon-possessed, I want to leave with you, Jesus. No, you can't. You got to stay here and witness. So you got to witness some more. That means you can't ultimately come, but right now you got to go through this tribulation where you got to witness because you failed. Because for 40 years you went along with this, right? Because you had a spirit in you, you let him trick you. That's what it says. It says, son of perdition, right? He would make war with the saints and overcome them. See, you should have been strong enough to overcome him, but you let him overcome you because you didn't have the spirit of Elijah in you. You didn't have the spirit of Islam in you. You had it on you. You walk around with your FY uniform or your MGT, and then somebody come along who follows the devil, and it's right there in Exodus that he's the one who's going to follow his Elijah, and he's going to, it's right there in front of your face, and you can't even see it. Ain't no way in the world you should have missed that one. I mean, you should have missed any of it. You should have missed this plague. 1619, the 2019, 40 years, and the 2020 a plague. Those are things you should not have missed if you was a true follower of Elijah. There's no way you should have missed that at all. No way. But you did, because you had spirit in you. See? You had the form. It says he had the form, but no spirit. So you walk around, hey, alhamdulillah, I'm FY, I'm MDT, all praise be to Allah, I'm doing Ramadan, and all that, right? See? I'm going to the Sunni mosque and pray. You going to Sunni mosque and praying. And oh man, I love Farrakhan. What? I'm out here fundraising. Sisters, I'm fundraising for Farrakhan. What? You out here fundraising out in the streets. He's pimping you and you can't see that? And he's living up in mansions and he ain't building anything for you, nothing? He built nothing for you and promised you anything. He didn't promise you anything. He's not saying, he says you ain't going to live no life after death, so you ain't got that going for you. You ain't got the promised land, you ain't got that going for you. You understand? He ain't got no job for you. He ain't got a damn thing for you. And you buy all of that, hook, line, and sinker. And you tell me you're a follower of Elijah Muhammad? No, you're a fool. That's what happened. You got on the outside, you got the form, but you got no spirit. You're like a dummy. See, you look human, but somebody got to move your mouth. See? So that's got to be corrected. That's how you got possessed by demons. If you had been down with Elijah Muhammad, no way that could have happened. And you got these clowns that, oh, nobody after Elijah. It's right there in the street. It says the message will come. I mean, there's no way in the world you could miss this message. So if you miss this message because you got the form, but you won't have the spirit. That's why you can't see this message. Because you need the spirit to see it. Because you're blind. You're spiritually blind. That's what I mean. Spiritually blind. You don't have the spirit see it. So now the spirit has to be, that's why you get baptized with fire, you know what I'm saying? To ignite that spirit in you. Then you won't be deceived anymore. It says they will arise incorruptible. You arise incorruptible. Trained in the twinkle of an eye. You arise incorruptible. Incorruptible. But right now you are corrupted because you got that lion-ass Farrakhan. He's corrupted you because you're blind because you have spirit in you. That's what's going on. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope I made it clear enough for you. We're going home. See? Farad, the Nation of Islam is his baby. He gave birth to it, and he gave Elijah Muhammad to nurse it. See? So he wants to give it every chance he can. Hey, I don't knock that. He's like, here's baby. I'm looking for my baby. My baby's Lazarus. It's you, the elect. You're my baby. Remember, it was two resurrections, right? Elijah raised the Levites, and Schumann raised Lazarus. I'm looking out for Lazarus. See, that's what I'm looking out for. That's why there was disagreement between Farad and Joshua. Joshua looking out for Lazarus. Farad looking out for. He's looking out for you too. I mean, Farad loves you too, but he loves, right? But he, his firstborn, he loved them. I'm not against the Nation of Islam. Not against them. Elijah Muhammad, as far as I'm concerned, he's my spiritual father. There's no greater man I ever met in my life. In fact, the only time I came anywhere near sanity or happiness, he was around because it was like being on an oasis out in the desert. And all of a sudden you have to, and all of a sudden you run against a pool of water, fresh water, man. And I was so unhappy when that water ran out because we've been on the desert ever since. So I started breaking seals of the angel. Now I've become the pool of water. That's what it says. The land will become the pool of water for you to drink. Free gift. See, that saved my life. That and slots. Because it was getting dry out here, brothers and sisters. Woo. See. So hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Simple. Elijah Muhammad put us in neutral, who was going 100 miles an hour in reverse. He put us in neutral. We're in neutral. That's the value of decision. Wandering around the wilderness trying to figure out which way we want to go. We got Aaron saying reverse. Joshua saying let's go and forward, right? And we went around in neutral trying to figure out which way to go. See? That's what Joshua's first conflict, his first miracle was to separate the demons out. That's what he does. He come in and then he shed light on that mud. They mix together. The water and the dirt's mixed together. Shed light on separation, right? See? So then the demons, they run back home. They're swine daddies. That's where they want to go. Please don't make me leave the country. And the saints, right? The water, they rise up. See? But they got to be heated up some more. They separated, right? But separating them, right? Now the dirt side, but still, you got to, get them real hot, steamy, clean all that stuff out. So you got to go through tribulation. But you, the elect, like 140,000, that's not the truth. That's just a symbolic number. But you, 141,000, you won't see any of that. Because when the war happens, you're going out of here. You're not going to be attacked. See, you're going out of here. See, now you be delivered. It says, at time of unprecedented trouble, that means a time that, it says, it'd be a time of Jacob's trouble, he'd be delivered out of it. When it says, what's the most unprecedented point in your life? The time of death. Because there'll never be another time like that again, will it? You're only going to die once. There'll be a time of your death when they're about to plunge that knife right through your heart. That's what it says about Abraham and his son, Isaac. He's about to plunge this knife right through his heart. And that's when God grabbed it and saved him. And he took the ram with two horns. Horns were stuck in the bushes. The ram represents America and Britain. The horns represent America and Britain. The ram represents false Israel. It says their horns was caught in the bushes. That's all there, brothers and sisters. So at that point, the hand was caught in the bushes, right? What does that mean? It means they're caught in the Middle East. How did they get caught in the Middle East? How did the two horns get caught in America and Britain get caught in the Middle East? Remember they got caught in the bushes? How did they get caught? But Papa Bush and Baby Bush. You can't make this stuff up, brothers and sisters. Papa Bush took him in 1990. Baby Bush took him back in 2003, so they get stuck in the Middle East ever since. You can't make this stuff up. Papa Bush and Baby Bush, that's how they got it. Some translators said, well, caught in the thicket. Bushes, thicket. Bushes. See? And they will sacrifice. That's the time they're being destroyed. They say all these things come together. That's the time of your sacrifice when that war happens. See, because they caught in the wilderness, and then they've been killed. Remember, what it says? It says when Suleiman, ancient days, right? He comes, he sets, but he had to throw his thrones down first. That's NOI, the authorities of NOI, right? They had to be cast down first, then he set. He said at that time, that's when the beast was given to the blame flaming fire. Brothers is all there. So at this point in time, I'm sitting back and waiting like for God does his thing. I know he's going to do it before we get hurt. I know the elect is not going to be harmed by this whatsoever. Not hair on your head will be harmed. See? I know he will do it, right? Before they attack. Because remember in Adam, they attacked first. They attacked us first, right? Or attacked the NOI first. And then the four winds, all that. No, it says, that's why it says on the right, because they're planning right now. Their plans in motion right now. So I know he's going to do it, right, before they're able to execute their attack. And they're in the process of doing it now. That means happening any day now. How much longer? I can't tell you, brothers and sisters. I know it'll be any day now. And it's not going to be another year from now. I know that. I'm not even going to make a guess. I mean, I do have a real good guess, but I know it's going to happen very soon. And I'm not talking about months either. Because we see it heating up. Anybody can see that it's about to boil. You see, it's about to go to war with China. But they got to go to the war in the Middle East first. And you see it warming up for war with China. And we already told you in Daniel, I told you they're going to war with China. After they go to war in the Middle East, it says China and India's going to invade. So, hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. Like I said, we're in a valid decision right now. And being called two ways. Suleiman, Joshua's, we're going to the promised land. Farrakhan, right? Aaron, chief demon legion. We ain't going nowhere. We want to stay here. See? And you got those confused. I don't know which way to go. Which way to go? I can't tell them right hand from the left. Is that Elijah's teachings, or is that you know, what's right? Because he lied to him. He's saying he represents Elijah, which is a lie. We can prove that over and over again. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's where we are. See? We're neutral. Valid decision to decide whether it's going to go reverse or going forward gear. See? But we're not going to stay neutral. So the decision has to be made. Where Christ said, then the decision, we see Allah and the angels coming in the cloud, the decision has been made. So the decision has been made. So in the process of making that decision now, right? And that's what Suleiman is doing, right? Separate that angel, that sunlight, separate that water from that dirt. Decision has been made. That's where we are, brothers and sisters. Just hold you again. You don't worry about anything. Just hold on. And keep your light going. Don't be like those stupid virgins. Now you had 5 of them that were stupid. They let the light go out. So they left in the darkness. The other ones kept their light. They was when Farah showed up, they just got on the boat and got the hell out of here. Got on the ship. Because you're going. Thank you, brothers and sisters. All of you out there that are waking up and waking other people up. Like it's a glorious time, and you're magnifying your reward. This is a time that makes or breaks. This is a time in history where you'll be remembered for one way or the other. Time to make your name. You know, we have kings and queens out there. How did they become kings and queens? Because when the time came to this darkness, they stood up. So when the darkness was over, they was a king and queen. They had to be respected because they was in charge. But they took charge in the darkness. They took charge in the darkness. said, those who turn many to righteousness, those who turn many to righteousness will shine as the brightness of stars. So this is time, brothers and sisters. It's a free gift. How can they be upset with a free gift? No coercion, no demands, a free gift. Just decide you want to go to the promised land instead of going reverse. That's the only decision you have to make, brothers and sisters, and get your name in the Lamb's Book of Life. What could be so complicated about that? You have to pay for it. You are paying for it in a way because you have to want to go because everybody has the same amount of energy. I don't want to go into that kind of detail, but you taking your energy and you focusing your energy towards going to the promised land. In other words, you taking your energy instead of building a bridge back to hell, to Egypt, you build a bridge to the promised land. So what bridge you want to build? But nobody has to ask you for anything. Like I said, it's a free gift. How can you have a problem with that? So that's your choice, brother. That's why you will have no excuse. Because you say, what was the problem? Oh man, he was taking my money. Nobody's taking your money. Oh man, he was telling me I had to do that. Nobody's telling you to do anything. He said I had to worship. Nobody asked you to worship anybody. It's just a free gift, brothers and sisters. Just open your eyes and get down with the angel and get behind Suleiman. Help him with this message. Because you're helping your own people. But you're not hurting me, brothers and sisters, one way or the other. My path is already determined. See? I'm not worried about anything. So if I'm the only one to go out, that's enough. Because I got the eternal seed. Okay, brothers and sisters, up to you. Assalamu alaikum.